Good morning. Today is a media drive for the all-new Mitsubishi Triton, the new version of the Mitsubishi Triton. Right behind me are the Athlete trims, the top-of-the-line version of the Triton. But today we are car number 5 and we are called the Chinese car because I'm gonna be with Martin Wu from Auto PH and Early from Auto Deal. So the three of us are our resident Filipino Chinese here in the bunch. We're gonna be taking car number 5, which is somewhere over there. It's gonna be a Mitsubishi Triton GLS, the version of the Triton which we haven't been able to try it. So stay tuned, we're gonna drive all the way to Bataan. So these are the cars. This is car number 1, that's gonna be an Athlete. We have Vince Pornelos over there. Car number 2, another Athlete. We got car number 5. So yes, again, it is a GLS, but for some reason, we have that thing on top. We're not exactly sure yet what exactly we're gonna do for this drive. They haven't really briefed us to that extent. I think there's gonna be some sort of an off-road experience, but why do we have that? Are we gonna go camping? I don't know. Now this GLS, as you can see, of course, it's not as kitted out as the Athlete, but nonetheless, it still looks pretty sharp. Now let's show you the interior right here. There you go. So it's, for the most part, very similar to the Athlete really, but this one will not get electronic power steering. Yeah. If you're interested in seeing more of the Athlete, we have a full video review on it, particularly that exact car right there. So just click right here. So since Early and we are definitely not morning people, we're gonna get Jonathan Martin Wu from Auto PH to drive for us for this morning. We're supposed to do a driver swap later on, but let's see. It will depend on how much energy Earl and I have left. So yes, these are our teammates. So Martin and Earl, the three chinks. Yeah, we're allowed to say that because we're all Chinese, right? Yeah. Let's go. Currently here in San Fernando, Pampanga. We're just gonna have a quick stop for lunch at My Lola Nor's. So I guess since we're all here, it's gonna be our Lola Nor's now. Martin said that the steering of the Triton GLS is pretty heavy, but I'll report back to you guys when I get to try to drive it, either later or tomorrow. I really want to compare it to how my experience was with the Triton Athlete. So this place looks super familiar, right? And I was racking my brain trying to figure out why I know this place. And then I remember this is the same place we had our lunch stop when we had the media drive for yet another brand, Cherry in particular. Made our way all the way here to Cabog view deck. I think that is just that view deck. Anyway, so car number 5, right? We had the 4x2 GLS, but they said that they're gonna let us test drive some sort of an off-road course. Obviously, we can't really do that with the 2-wheel drive GLS, so we're gonna be relying on our 4-wheel drive Athlete model. So not sure which exact unit we're gonna be using. Hopefully we get the Yamabuki orange metallic because I really like the color of that. But yeah, stay tuned. We're gonna drive it off-road. So yes, we did get the Yamabuki orange metallic one. So yay, we got it. Anyway, this is the 4-wheel drive Athlete and we already have it on 4 high. So if you put it in 4 high, you're gonna have your drive modes available, right? So let me just click this. So you have normal, gravel, and snow. And the good thing about these Tritons is you can actually use the 4 high system even when you are on road, especially when it's raining, and you can do it on the fly. So yeah, super select too. Now let's go and try it in this small off-road course. So earlier we were driving the 2-wheel drive version and that did come with hydraulic steering. So it was pretty heavy, especially in low speeds. But for this one, as we showed you in our review, which again, you can just click up here somewhere, this is so much lighter with its electric power steering system. And even when you're going off-road right here, yeah, you don't really have to put in too much effort. It just is super easy, super effortless. I mean, sure, also that we're not going for a very rough course. There's not too much ruts here. It's not that slippery. But still, I mean, the Triton can do it. If you go for your out-of-town trips like this, there's a couple of rough roads that you have to tackle. As long as it's not too heavy, you'll be absolutely fine. So we've come to this section of the off-road course where there's just a little bit of ruts. And yeah, again, it's not really too massive. I'm feeling a little bit of a slip. But this car does come with a locking center differential, and you can use it when you are in your 4 high with locking diff mode, as well as your 4 low with locking diff mode. And this center camera tool, which comes with a top-down 360 view, is also pretty helpful for when you want to be able to navigate these off-road courses, especially if they're a little bit tighter. You won't have an issue with this one. So we've made it to our destination where we will be spending the night. So they call this Rancho Bernardo, and as you can see, the architecture here is quite stunning. If you've been to the Temple of Leia in Cebu, well, it looks kind of like that, but you know, just a little bit better and with accommodations. Now, our room, they called it Triton Villa number 4, me and Martin's room. Meanwhile, Earl is over there, somewhere there. And wow, I'm gonna show you the room. It's quite crazy. If you remember our video when we did the road trip with Toyota for the Tamarao in Samar Island, it was pretty impressive. But this one, I would say it's equally as impressive. Look how expansive this room is. Now it's turning into a hotel tour now, is it not? Look at the ceiling. Look how high that ceiling is. There's even motifs over there. 2 beds, queen size each. So Martin and I, we don't have to cuddle tonight, maybe tomorrow. And then here, if we can just somehow open this, we have our own. Come here. We have our own pool. Yes, that's ridiculous. That is quite ridiculous. Over there by the side, you're gonna have some more farmland. So this is like an oasis in the middle of nowhere. It's really good. So we brought these 2 cars up here all the way to the peak at Rancho Bernardo. On my right, this is the GLS 2-wheel drive that we've been using for the past day. And on my left is the Athlete, which we already reviewed. Now, I'll just give you a quick comparison. So what you'll notice here is that there really is a big difference between these two in terms of like the specifications it has, right? First of all, the grille. While both of them have the dynamic shield design, this one gets it black. The GLS has it in black, while the Athlete has the body colored ones, which makes it frankly look a lot nicer. The lighting assembly do look pretty similar too, but you don't get any sort of parking sensors for the GLS. If you look over at the sides of these 2 vehicles too, the wing mirrors on the Athlete, that is blacked out. On the GLS, you only got chrome. You'll also notice a lot of chrome on this one, which would be blacked out on the Athlete. Now take a look at the fenders. You don't have over fenders for the GLS, which I think makes it look a little bit better. Your wheels look a little bit more flush to the ends of the fenders. But yeah, for the Athlete, it could use a little bit of spacers. Now, look on top and you will see also that the Athlete gets roof rails, meanwhile the GLS doesn't. The sports bar at the back by the bed, that's also slightly different. Although these 2 vehicles look pretty similar, the biggest difference is its powertrain, because here at the GLS, not only do you get a 2-wheel drive system, but you get the old Strada's 2.4-liter single turbocharged diesel engine. This one makes just a little bit more power compared to the previous Strada. This one makes 183 horsepower and 430 Newton meters of torque, 6-speed automatic. Meanwhile, if you go to the Athlete, you'll notice the turbo is much larger because this is a 2-stage turbo. This one makes 204 horsepower and 470 Newton meters of torque, also with a 6-speed automatic. While not the most powerful engine for a pickup truck of its class, it is pretty powerful when you do drive it. Now later on, we will be driving the GLS just to show you how it performs with that single turbo diesel engine. What's pretty funny is that when it comes to the wheels of these 2 vehicles, they're actually exactly the same with the exception of the color. Usually a lot of manufacturers would give you special rims for the top-of-line version, right? But in this case, no. Exact same design, exact same size, 18 inches, but you get them blacked out on the Athlete. So Is it really worth getting the Athlete? Well, that depends on you. Finally, after almost 2 days, 1.5 days, we finally got to drive the Triton GLS. So again, I have already driven the Triton Athlete, so I'm gonna give you some sort of a comparison as well. First of all, the engine. Not really having that second stage of that turbo. Is it a big thing? Well, honestly, not really. Because if you're familiar with the previous generation Strada and the Montero as well, well, again, this has the same engine, right? So is it lacking? Not at all. It's still very responsive. The pickup truck still feels very light, so it still feels like a very powerful powertrain in here. Now, when we are taking this car off-road, we have had a bunch of issues when it comes to like sliding because you don't have that four-wheel drive system, sure. But on-road, you don't really need the extra power of the Triton Athlete's two-stage turbo. You can, it's good to have, but it definitely is not a necessity. Now, the second thing that really differs between this and the Athlete version is the steering, because this one doesn't get electronic power steering. This one still uses the old school hydraulic system, and it is super heavy, especially at low speed. But when you are on the highway, you'll find that it's a lot more stable feeling, and it's a lot more communicative too. So if you want a very engaging type of driving experience, you might even prefer the GLS over the Athlete. So what other things are different? Well, the transmission, that's exactly the same. For turbo lag, you will experience a little bit extra turbo lag. It takes a little bit more time for the turbo to spool because there is only one turbo, right? The next would be the suspension. So you'll usually expect these to ride pretty similarly, and yes, they do for the most part, but you'll feel just a little bit extra bounciness with this GLS two-wheel drive. Why? Because it feels a little bit lighter compared to the Athlete, but those aside, they feel pretty similar to drive. So that's about it for now. Do stay tuned. Hopefully you will be able to borrow this GLS two-wheel drive too soon. So yeah, goodbye. Thank you for watching.